Oh, salt and pepper.
And Papa.
Guys, now what was funnier, like the time that actually happened with Sir Patrick Stewart, or when John Mulaney made that joke?
John Mulaney, he gets it, man. He gets the
Salt
inside.
and pepper.
He gets the inside of my head, like right here.
Guys, welcome to Burn Actor Watching.
Speaking of John Mulaney's not in this movie.
No.
This would have been a much better.
God, it would have been so much better.
Yes, it would have been better
Little
if
baby
he was
John
in this
If
movie.
John Mulaney was
Hey.
in this movie.
I'm doing all the coke right now.
Oh, good.
And listening
Best
to
of
What's
luck,
New
John Mulaney.
Pussycat.
Yeah.
Guys, we watched the movie The Proposal, which was a movie that I think universally loved by all three of us.
So here's the
it's
sad
over
part. Is he saw it in the movie theater back whenever it
did.
came out or
Same,
whatever.
Samesies.
So did you.
Samesies, yeah.
But
She
me-
loves it. With Jamie.
Just recently watched it. Literally
On
within
purpose.
like the past few
On
weeks.
purpose.
Because of Betty White. Because all the Betty White movies were streaming and it
You have
had
to
never
watch
been
them.
streaming.
That's why I picked it, because I thought of you.
No, and I
It's
was
your
like,
fault.
and after it was done, I was like, thank God that movie was done. And then
I'll
he was
never
like,
have to
let's
watch
watch
it
it again. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate my life.
By the way, guys, we are not drinking a beer today.
This is a beer.
I have
because,
some beer left over.
This is a beer.
Well, okay.
I just mixed
Mostly
it in
not drinking beer because we just did a hot challenge and it
a hot challenge.
It's
We
what
did a
hurt
hot
us.
challenge.
It put hurt on us.
I thought I was
hot
gonna
ass
die.
challenge. Hot ass challenge. We call that.
Yeah, the hot ass challenge will be
Oh
tomorrow
my God,
morning.
oh
when
my
we take
God.
Okay,
So guys, so this is a movie that starts out credits with like the Evil Dead cam.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess it was like
No, I know.
We're in the
It's like going
forest.
slowly through the forest, and then it shows her biking, and it's like she would be biking so much faster than that. Like it's the slowest panning, like, but she's not even paying attention,
Because she's
Miguel.
on a bike
'Cause
trainer.
she's like- She's like, multitasking. She's like an A-type personality.
That's right, baby.
Like totally on top of
which
things.
means she's a bitch.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
Because she's a lady that wants to get ahead of
She's
life.
an
What a
A-type bitch. Yeah. And then it shows a guy waking
Like,
up and
the Adam
he's
McKay right
late,
there,
and it's like,
Well, they pan through and they're like, he's got some stuff like kid stuff, and you're like, oh, this guy's a little immature, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
a
what?
loser.
Maybe he doesn't got his life together. I don't know.
I don't know. Because he wakes up late. He's like, oh, my alarm, I gotta get up.
But later in the
By the-
movie,
by
it's
the way-
alluded to the fact that he works really hard. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
this movie doesn't know what it wants.
It
And
doesn't-
I'm just going to preface this with, this movie
Yeah.
literally
By
doesn't
the way,
know what it wants any of its
Sandra
characters
Bullock-
That's
to
where we
be
start.
at
We
any
start with
part.
Sandra Bullock is the uptight lady. Her name is Margaret Tate.
Margaret Tate.
Margaret
And
Tate.
then Ryan Reynolds he plays the character of Andrew Paxton.
Yeah, which, by the way, your names don't get more white than that.
Yeah.
This is how it works.
Also, she like didn't know what his last name was until she gets to the town. We'll talk about that later. But it's just like, he's worked for you for 2 years, 3 years. Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, like you would know his last name. Yeah.
Not if you're an uptight bitch.
Yeah, because she's
Right?
a bitch. What a bitch.
Because
You know, when she comes to the office, you go, oh,
Yeah.
she's in the office, the bitch
It's
is in the
coming.
office.
It's coming, yeah. And he's like, and he does everything for her, including getting her coffee in the morning. And so he's running late, you guys. He wakes up and he's like, no, I'm running late. And he's getting ready to go and he's running out and there's a cute barista and
Yeah,
she's
she's
like,
Ooh,
hey.
la, la.
She's like, I've got your coffee for you. And he's like, you're literally a lifesaver. So we have to remember, this is like early Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
well, it's, yeah.
And this
Before
is
he got to choose what he
Van
wanted
Wilder,
to do.
like
Yeah.
Van Wilder.
This is
Like, you were
before-
Van Wilder, you're great, just do this.
This is also before Bird Box, Sandra Bullock. She was not in Bird Box yet. This
All right, so let's just- Let's just
boy.
preface this with, I like many movies that Sandra Bullock is
Like
in.
Bird Box. Yep.
Sure.
Well,
No, but I
speed.
actually
Speed to
do
cruise
like, I actually do like,
control. We're going to speed to cruise control at some point.
I love Practical Magic because it's just one of my favorite movies. And I don't hate,
You're a big fan of The Blind Side, yeah.
I've actually never seen that.
You love,
so
you love
I,
her seeing
yeah.
a black person.
But, oh god.
Yeah.
But I also
Maybe
like,
one black boy, yeah.
the one,
Yeah.
oh, Miss Congeniality. I do like Miss Congeniality too. That's like a woman power movie or whatever. But I will say,
Sandra Bullock.
so I will say, I've seen movies that she's in and I like them. I do not like Sandra Bullock. And only because
Ooh.
she like plays the most boring fucking characters. Like they're always trying to like inject some character into her. And she's just like, I'm Sandra Bullock playing this character, and I'm Sandra Bullock playing that character.
I feel like every time I watch Sandra Bullock, like obviously beautiful person, I feel like she goes home and sleeps in a coffin. I just feel like she's like, okay, sleepy time.
Or like the Coneheads, where she's just like, I'm gonna go stand here now. I'm just gonna plug in.
So how much do you guys really like Sandra Bullock?
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
I love Sandra Bullock.
He likes the idea that she sleeps in the
Okay,
coffin.
so he's got this coffee, by the way.
Yeah, let's
Get back. We'll get back.
Yeah, okay, so he's
He has
got the coffee.
He's going to the office, and he turns around and smashes into this guy that's just walking, doing his job,
Also,
and then gets mad at the guy.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
it's doing
yeah.
his work.
but also, he's literally
a class warfare.
he's holding 2 coffees in one hand, and I'm
Not a
sorry,
thing.
there's
Not a thing.
no
Not a
way
thing.
you're not burning
Not a thing.
yourself
Not a
coffee
thing.
all over the place.
Like this is very much a prop cup.
And the stupidest
because
part-
he's also like willy
Seriously.
just flapping it around.
And the
Like,
stupidest
okay.
part is she gives it to him, she hands it to him like in a carrier, and then he just takes the cups. Like, no, you would take the carrier.
So guys, he's covered in coffee. What does he do?
What's he gonna do?
What's he do?
He yells at this guy, he's like, you gotta switch shirts with me.
Which also like, no.
Yeah, no.
bro. And then he's like, "Oh, I'll get you tickets to something." It was like
Yeah,
tickets
it's like
to
the
Mets
White Sox,
game.
Red Sox, or some shit.
Something game. Yeah.
Right on the film. Like, also,
Big game.
like,
It's a New York
how?
game. Mets.
Mets
maybe?
How at this point? Like we think
Knicks,
he's like
I
a
don't know.
poor intern guy at this point. And then we're
Yeah, like, how's he gonna get tickets? Is he gonna use her name? Like, we don't...
Supposedly he can get them, and this guy switches shirts.
Like, this guy believes him right away. He's like, cool, let's do this.
Because
Sure.
of course, if he has a dirty shirt, his boss will fire.
Also,
Yeah.
they are the same size as well,
Yeah.
which is a
Sure.
thing.
I guess so, yeah.
Which is wayfish, I think is the size in this.
So, yeah, so she comes into the office, and he sends out a message, or someone sends out a message. They all have instant
They send a
messaging.
message. What does the message say? It's here.
It's here.
here,
Oh
yeah.
my fucking god. Jesus Christ.
Labels this powerful woman
What?
as an it.
What?
Cool.
Because she's, a powerful bitch who gets things done as a bitch.
What? The
Like, okay,
fuck?
sure, yeah.
And like I'm like, is this a movie from this came from the 90s, right? Like it's after
It's from
Speed.
2009.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I was like. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Closer
We
than
have
you
work to
think.
do. We have work
And
to
guess
do,
what?
guys.
There's more that comes along in this movie
we're not done yet.
that you're like,
At one point, when they're talking during this first conversation, and you're establishing that she's a bitch, she's like, the woman with the ugly hands.
Yep. That's my next note, actually. The one with the ugly hand.
And then she goes, she's talking about some woman that they work with, and he's supposed to get a hold of this woman. And then she looks at her coffee and she goes, why does this coffee have a woman's name and then a phone number? And he's like, oh, because that's my coffee. And she's like, oh, you drink the same coffee that I drink?
No, he goes, I spilled your coffee, I spilled your coffee, so I gave you mine.
Right.
And then he says it's the same order basically.
No, and then she goes, oh, you drink a,
Cinnamon light foam latte or something.
so yeah, and he's like, I do. It's like Christmas in every sip.
Yeah,
Christmas in a
cup.
cup. Christmas in a cup. Which, by the way, that did sound pretty delicious. Like, I like a cinnamon latte.
I
I'm not
remember
gonna lie, but-
that line vividly from when I said, I was like, yep.
Christmas in a cup. There you
Christmas
go.
in a
I
cup was
love
great.
this movie.
Because he's
right?
hilarious, but you
All of
guys,
them.
the whole thing is she goes, you didn't just order my coffee in case, order the same thing in case my coffee spilled. And he's like, no, that would be pathetic. No, that's being a good fucking assistant.
Yeah. He got your coffee. So
Like,
shut the fuck
seriously,
up.
you can shut the fuck up. This guy is literally ordering the same thing
and she's-
so that you get your coffee.
But guys, okay, you're
But
seeing
she's
this.
a bitch.
You're seeing this as a bitch. I'm seeing this. I'm being all playful. She's like, ooh, I'm gonna rib you a little bit, buddy.
And-
No, because then she literally goes,
You are.
oh, because it
pathetic,
is pathetic
yeah.
if you are ordering my
Here's
coffee.
the thing.
Still being playful.
Okay,
right?
here's the thing about
Sure.
this. Okay, here's the thing though.
Maybe because I had a boner.
She is
Maybe 'cause I had a
not.
boner, right.
She's not pushing this character that hard, so you really don't like when you're like, oh, she's
It's a
really-
rom-com.
Very inconsistent.
Yes,
Yeah,
none of these characters are true.
I'm like,
There's
she
no
doesn't-
background.
Except for the all-in character that is Bob. Coming up next, guys.
Played by Asif Manvi.
Asif Manvi.
Incompetent.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, a
Where does he
blessing.
go with our
No,
lives?
I
love
have
Austin Butler.
actually seen him in other films.
Did you see him in Avatar: The Last?
He's in a great.
He's in that.
No, he's in a great movie about an Indian chef who decides to start cooking in his dad's restaurant again. It's an independent film. It was really
Avatar
good.
2, I believe.
I enjoyed it. I really
The
liked
first
it.
Airbender.
Oh,
The
God.
food vendor.
The food
God.
vendor. I like it.
The food vendor.
That's the name of this episode.
food vendor. Yeah, exactly. I like Asif Mandi.
And
So
luckily he plays a guy, like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, he's
again, this character just
He's
there
gonna play
for
Bob.
convenience. Yeah, Bob.
Bob.
And like you're like, oh, he's gonna be a major character in this. No,
No.
he's
No.
in there.
So basically,
They
they go
talk about
in.
him a few
They
times.
go.
Yeah,
She
he's
takes.
mentioned.
She takes Andy in with her, Andrew in with her, and she's like, Bob, you're getting fired. You didn't. Oh, because we missed at the beginning. She's on the phone with someone, and it's a writer who refuses to go on any talk shows or talk to anybody or be interviewed by anybody. But she got him to go on
Well,
Oprah. His name's Frank.
Well, okay.
He comes up more than once.
Here's to her credit. Bob's like, oh, well, nobody can get him on, so he didn't even try. Like, that's why you got fired, dude.
Yeah.
You didn't even do
What
your job.
a piece of shit.
That's not what she. That's
No,
not
that
what it
is
was.
what it was.
No,
No,
that's
because
what
then
it
she goes. Because then she goes. I understand he can be scary to talk to. So basically, the guy's kind of
Yeah.
an asshole.
But the thing is
But
Bob did
not
Yeah.
talk to him.
and that's why she fired.
Right.
Yeah, so you got fired for not doing your job,
But
Bob.
that's another thing, though. Like, she's being kind of nice. She even says, I'll give you a month's worth of severance.
2 months.
basically.
2 months.
2 months.
What
She's
the
gonna give him
fuck?
2 months to find another
That's a
job.
really nice
I'm like,
person.
I
No.
wish someone would fire me.
Seriously.
Yes, I want to get 2 months of severance. What the fuck?
So I wrote right here. She gave him
Please.
2 months, but then she's taking his furniture out of his office and putting it in hers. I'm like, is she a bitch or isn't she a bitch? Are we
I
supposed to
don't know
hate
what
her
they're
But
doing.
also,
or not
she
hate her?
gives him 2 months, and then Bob just starts laying into her.
Yeah.
Like,
And she's
Bob.
like,
I'm like,
okay,
Bob, cool it, Bob. Like,
She's letting Bob dig it and like, okay, I'm gonna dig you're a bitch and
he's
everybody
like, you're the bitch, and everybody
hates
hates you. And it's like, dude,
I wrote, oh,
relax.
Bob.
He definitely
Oh, Bob.
does not have any accent in that scene. But it's okay.
No, I mean,
Okay.
we're doing like a New York accent, that's fine.
but anyway, so yeah, I'm like, okay, we're like, don't lay, like, she just lets you off on this, like,
Yeah.
you screwed up.
No, yeah.
And you're getting 2 months severance pay, and you're leaving. You probably need a job anywhere else you want.
And also, she basically is like, I won't I'll let you quit.
Yeah.
I'll let you resign, so that way you don't get any kind of strikes in your
Yeah.
record. No one's gonna
And then he
Blackball
comes out,
you.
guns blasting,
and then
like,
for
oh.
no fucking reason. And so she was super, super nice here. And
Yeah.
okay, cool.
But then you guys, she gets called into her boss's office.
Well,
right?
first she tells Andrew like, oh, you're gonna have to like do all his stuff now. Like, so you're gonna basically be him.
And she's a bitch.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, well, what am I supposed? Like, my boner's going up and down and up and down. I'm like, okay, just pick a stage of boner. It's hard to do this, guys.
Yeah.
It's hard to do this.
It was
They,
really
they
hard
will not, by
for
the
him to
way.
watch.
Spoiler alert, they will not
Yeah,
pick a
it was
stage
really
boner.
hard.
No, they don't.
So, but she gets called up to her boss's office, and she's like, ugh. She's like, okay, come get me in 5 minutes because I don't have time for this stuff. And earlier in the movie, he mentions that her
Something about her visa or...
her lawyer, her immigration lawyer, right?
Yeah.
That's what they call it. Her immigration lawyer,
Yeah, sure.
like, called, and she's like, oh, put him on the rocks. And so she gets up to her boss's office, and guess what? Her immigration lawyer called the bosses because they're like, hey, her immigration status has lapsed, which...
Because they told her not to go to Berlin and violate the her visa, and she did it anyway.
Yeah, but...
What a bitch!
But
But-
if he's worked for her for about 3 years, and later in the movie he says that she's one of the most respected and well-known editors in the United States, or like in the industry. She has worked there for at least 5 years. Get your fucking citizenship. Just do it. She's an A-type personality. She would have done everything to just get this done.
She's too busy, though.
No,
Because she's such
it's so stupid.
a busybody.
It's so stupid. Because then they try to say, they basically are like, yeah, they're basically like that you went against your visa and then you didn't file some of the paperwork on time or something like that. And I'm like, there's no way
Also,
she wouldn't have done
a
that.
premise of this movie, we forgot. He's like, oh, well,
Did you forget that?
he's like, I'm going away this weekend. She's like, no, I need you this weekend. He's like, well, it's my grandma's 90th
Well, no.
birthday.
Yeah.
He doesn't even tell her that,
yeah.
remember? He's talking on the phone to his
Yeah, yeah.
family, and then
Yeah.
she's like, oh, who was that? And he's like, oh, it's work related. And she's like, oh, it sounds like you were talking to your family, because he can't even tell her that he's going to talk to his family. That's how much of a bitch she is.
You don't get a break when you're
working
with a bitch, you know?
Yeah.
No, but then she's like, oh no, you have to be with me. He's like, well, it's just my grandma's 90th birthday.
90th birthday, yeah. And he's like, I guess I'll go next time. She's like, yep, you need to be here. It's like, okay.
So then this immigration nonsense happens.
She went against her visa.
Foolishness, we'll call it.
And
Foolish,
she didn't turn in some of the stuff on time. And so she's basically going to get deported. And she can't keep working for them. This was a stupid line, remember? You were like, no, that doesn't make any sense. They're like, you can't work for an American corporation if you're not in America.
Okay.
No, that's
somebody just didn't
not at all how that works.
I think that's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah.
What?
Like, I know there wasn't Zoom back then, but there definitely was teleconferencing.
When she talks about it, she even mentions herself. She's like, oh, this teleconference. Like, oh, you can't. It's illegal or something.
No, and it's like, any good publishing house is going to have international partners. Like,
yeah, and especially if this bitch is like the one that gets things done. Unless they're just trying to get rid of her, then just get rid of her. But they don't. They make it sound like she's important.
Maybe that's the real story behind this, because that's right. Because she's supposedly the most well-known and well-respected editor ever.
But how does she get past this?
Well, she looks at Andrew and she realizes, like, Andrew's right here.
He's got a penis.
She's like, guess what?
He's clueless.
We're getting married. We got engaged. We love each other. Couldn't you tell that we love each other?
No, she's not even touching that much. Because he's just like, what?
Does not touch him. She just looks at him and he's like, okay.
I'm like, you can do that to me. That's fine.
Okay.
You rub my arm.
No, and it's true. He's like
his arm.
Yeah,
his third arm.
he's like, sure, we're getting married because
he totally plays along with it.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because he's got the complex where she rules your life, and so you do everything.
Yeah, it was like a Munchausen syndrome type deal.
Yeah, seriously.
It was scary.
It's like, we're in love and we're getting married, and they're like...
But they look very incredulous, and then she counters with, Edwin, don't tell me though you're not the first person to fall in love with your secretary. You and LaQuisha.
Yeah,
oh, God.
You and LaQuisha.
Like, I feel like that was a line that Sandra Bullock made up herself, and I was like...
Also, LaQuisha.
So,
okay.
I hate this. So basically, she's like, we're gonna get married, and we have to, and they're like, well, you need to go down to the immigration office today and file the paperwork today, because they're gonna keep you out of the country tomorrow. Yeah. So they go down to the immigration office, and of course, she's like, hey, I'm white lady here. I need to get in front of the line
but before they
and
do
cut
that,
in front of everybody.
Very important.
God, this is gonna take so
very
long.
important.
No, important stuff.
Okay.
There's a little blackmail involved on Andrew's
right. So she basically tells him, because he's like, why am I going along with this?
Yeah,
and
like,
she's
I have
like,
no fucking...
She's like, listen, if I get fired, Bob's going to be in charge. Bob's going to fire you, and you'll never have a career in publishing
and he's like,
ever
so
again.
What? I want to be the editor.
Yeah, so he's like, you're going to give me a promotion, which also... Her explanation is stupid. That makes no sense.
None of this movie.
But he's like, well, you're going to give me a promotion.
It's amazingly stupid.
And you're going to publish the manuscript that I like, the one manuscript that I've chosen.
No, he said his.
He wrote it.
His manuscript.
He wrote it. It wasn't what he chose.
Yeah,
he didn't write it.
No, he did.
He did.
This is weird because
yes,
because he does mention he shows her a manuscript that he likes and it's not his. But then he wants his own manuscript.
Yeah.
No, I think he's calling it my manuscript.
It's not.
his.
At the end, it's his.
It's his, because at the end she publishes his manuscript.
No, but I think he's saying mine when he means the one that he chose.
No, because he does say it fully as his manuscript at the end.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird thing.
But it says nothing about him being a writer.
No, he does. He says that he is a writer. He actually says a few times he's a writer. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's what Craig T. Nelson's upset about too.
I hate this movie.
Yeah, it's a weird detail. But it was the one thing that Jamie had to clarify for me because she's watched it like 1,000 times. So I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, this is his manuscript." I was like, "Okay."
I hate this movie.
Yeah.
By the way, they go to this immigration office, and of course it's like. It looks like
everywhere
around the world they come into like white people don't have that kind of immigration office. Okay, rich ass white people get to go to the rich ass white line. But like, look, it's funny though, huh? She's mingling with you,
but she doesn't mingle. She just cuts in front of them.
Cuts in front of everyone.
Fully like steps in.
But they're all like assholes, like picking their nose. And it's like,
no, not to mention that she gets into the office and the guy comes in and she's like, I know you have a bunch of like delivery guys and gardeners. So she's literally a racist bitch.
But also, this guy is the fucking worst. This fucking immigration
He's
guy.
also that guy. Like, he's that guy. You see him and stuff. He's,
Diamonds, daisies.
I just put racist as fuck when you said that.
That guy. Yeah, no, that was 100% racist.
But also,
like, really?
Like, they're interrogating this rich-ass white lady. No, they're not.
Hey, this Asian is swinging hard. He comes out swinging.
Yeah.
Like,
he takes his job very seriously.
And they're going to cheat on the question.
Like, this is going to make his career.
And you're going to go to jail.
Like, this is his career, you know? Like,
also, she's rich enough where she could be like, yeah, I'm going to go to jail. Here's this money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're going to go.
Actually, 5 Benjamin Franklin say I'm fine.
Okay.
So basically, they see the guy, and he's like, listen, fine. You're going to tell your family this weekend. Here's a questionnaire. We're going to meet again Monday morning, and all of your answers better line up, or else I'm not going to, like, grant you.
Yeah, and that was part of the thing. It's like, oh, well, we're going to Alaska to see his parents, and like, oh, okay, well, we'll wait till Monday then.
Yeah.
So he's like,
she's like, we're going to go tell his parents this weekend, because she knows he was going away.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize that he was going away to Alaska.
To Alaska!
Like from New York City.
Sitka, Alaska.
Yeah, this isn't Anchorage, guys. This is like bumblefuck.
No, actually, Sitka is closer than Anchorage.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not like a city.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
not a city.
No, but it's actually pretty close to Juneau. It's just like you just take like a
But I'm saying
it's very close to Juneau.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
it's not. Yes.
Rural.
And also, the flight would be how many hours? Like, so long. Like, when are you
New
leaving?
York to Alaska.
Part of the flight is on like a mud skipper. It's like
New York to Alaska is about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but it's not great. But then they have to get off the plane and go on the tiny plane.
Yeah.
Nobody want to go on a tiny plane.
So they have to go to. I've never been. No, that's terrible.
I want to say with one row of seats on the other side of this one.
Very cool. So
she didn't. She said that like very cool, but she didn't. Man, very cool.
But we missed a scene where they get out of the immigration office.
Did we?
And they are standing literally in front of the immigration office.
Yep.
And he forces her to officially ask him to marry her, down on her knees and everything.
And who else had a boner? Like, anyone else have an erection?
And they're discussing the full details of the fact that she's coercing him into marrying her right in front of the immigration
office. He says, ask me
like,
nicely.
Yeah.
But is she kind of digging it, though? She's digging like this power play?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, it's something like a kink.
Please stop.
It's like a kink thing now.
But it does establish that he's also an asshole. Like, he's basically
bad
like,
for having to be on her knees, because like she's not wearing like knee pads, obviously, and like she has very bony knees. You think like this can't be good. It
didn't look comfortable. Then he didn't help her up. He just walked away.
Yep.
Yeah. No. So. Really, they're both being jerks. They're
Everyone's
both assholes. Everyone's assholes.
The moral of this movie, really, by the time everyone's an asshole.
Because she's such a bitch, this has really just come up in for her. You know,
everyone is an asshole except for Andrew's ex-girlfriend, which we'll get to. But,
okay. So while they're on the plane, they're reading through this questionnaire, and the stupid thing is he's asking her questions, like being like, I think I know this about you, and I know this about you.
Tattoo.
And she's like, well, you're never gonna know, and it's like, but he does have to know.
You have to fucking do this.
Like,
you're gone.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, do you want to stay in the U.S. or not? Are you shooting yourself in the foot?
My favorite part is like, she's like, so we obviously stay in my apartment. She's like, why couldn't we stay in my apartment?
Because she's rich as fuck.
Why the fuck would you stay?
Why would you stay in your shit
you
ass
probably
apartment?
have 5 roommates in a 2-bedroom apartment.
And like 75 action figures, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here.
She's like, I love sitting with your Funko Pop.
Get the shit out of here.
She literally said, I live in Central Park West.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Again,
she got a $2 million apartment.
I was like looking at the screen like, you can marry me.
Yeah.
I'll marry you.
Yeah, right.
But also, dude, just shut up, man. Like, relax.
So, but they get to Juneau, and then they have to take the tiniest plane
to Sitka Airlines.
Yeah, to Sitka.
It's Genova, actually.
Genovia?
Sephiroth.
So, but when they get to Sitka, Who's there to
Which, by the way,
greet
a
them?
beautiful little plane scene, little tiny plane, but it's like a nice little mountains in the background.
I mean, I like Alaska.
I didn't know they were going to an island at first.
By the way, this
the
was
scenes
all
of
filmed
living
in
the-
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Not sure how they did that.
I don't know. There's a green
No,
screen.
I'm guessing all of the background, like the establishing shots, they must have gone to Alaska. But all of the like in-house
Sure.
shots were
Sure.
were Massachusetts. So
So we get to Alaska, and we immediately meet a great character who has no flaws.
Dauber? Oh.
Betty White.
Oh.
well, and also the mom.
As
Like
Gammy-
the mom
as-
has
as
no
Gammy
flaws.
Annie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I really meant. Because we'll find out
You
more
mean
about
Mary
Gammy Annie later.
Steenburgen?
I love Mary
And not Catherine Keener,
Steenburgen.
'cause I
Yeah.
always get them confused.
Mary Steenburgen playing
Also
again.
looking chef's
Yeah,
kiss
looking
gorgeous.
amazing. Yeah, but again, playing the beleaguered wife/mom, like
But
her
that's
entire character.
Which, by the way, you could tell
she
she's
does a
fine.
great job.
It's
Yeah,
like-
yeah, exactly.
Also,
Check,
Craig
check.
Nelson looking amazing.
Well, we haven't gotten to him yet.
But
So
also,
yes.
Craig
Yeah.
Nelson.
So
So they drive to town. They see everything that says Paxton on it.
and she's like,
Isn't
oh,
that Hinch's
that's
name?
his last name.
Actually, I don't think she
Oh.
knows at that point, because then he's like, yeah, that's my family, but my family owns half the town.
Well, no, she did because she was
Well,
looked at
and
his
she-
bag
and
and
she
saw
goes-
his
that's
name
why
on his
I-
bag.
And
Yeah.
she goes, "Oh, you told me you were poor." And he goes, "I never said I was poor."
Well, no, she didn't. She goes, you didn't tell me you were rich.
Yeah, and he goes, "I didn't say I was rich. My parents are rich."
Yeah. He's like, differentiate.
But also,
Differentiate.
that means.
But also, you a rich ass
Shut up.
white boy.
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Privilege.
So,
This whole movie's about privilege.
And
really,
the grandma, it's funny because he thought the grandma was being a bitch at first, but I'm like, she just tells it like it is because she's like,
Just
should
tells it
we
like it
call
is, like
you
an
by
asshole.
your name or should we call you Satan's
Because
mistress?
he's
that's
also
what
been
he's
calling her.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's complained
This is
about
on
her
Ryan
to
Reynolds'
his
bad.
family.
Don't you dare
Exactly.
call
Yeah.
her a bitch. Gammy Annie a bitch.
She's an asshole.
Gammy Annie. Yeah.
And she's
Annie's
racist.
yeah.
We'll get to it.
So she's not
She's
racist.
part Native American.
She's
man.
part-
It's different. It's
Yeah.
different.
Couldn't you tell that Betty White was part Native
Yeah.
American?
What, do you want to be called Betty Native American?
Yeah. So
Betty Indigenous?
so they but they
love
have
the
to.
station wagon, Woody station wagon.
It's a great
Beautiful.
station wagon. But then they get to a port, and she's like, "Oh wait, we have to get on a boat." And he's like, "Yeah, we have to take a boat." Of course, he doesn't
This
tell her
scene
any
to
of this
me
stuff.
was the worst scene in the movie.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Because it was fucking stupid.
He was such an asshole.
And
First,
but
he's-
also because she's also like, I'm gonna climb down a ladder in fucking high heels.
no, okay, so
you kidding
she
me?
literally travels in like work clothes, like heels and like a suit.
Like a business attire.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
What the fuck
and
is
then,
happening?
And then he makes her get her own bags because he's just being an asshole.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you're being an asshole.
But
okay.
then he throws them down to his mom and
Into the
literally
water.
drops one of her bags
Water.
into the fucking
That's kind of
water.
funny. He's like,
And his
"Go
mom
drive
gets
it. Go
it.
drive it off.
Yeah, it's like, oh
No,
my
she
god.
picks it up, I think.
The mom
Mom
picks it up, yeah.
That's it.
It's not Catherine Keener.
That's what I said,
It's
Catherine
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 Keener.
Keener picks it up. And she's not even in this movie.
It's like,
That's the
like,
weirdest
what
part.
the
She's
fuck?
not in the movie. She's
Damn
like,
it.
I found your bag.
Mother
God.
Grace Paxton.
There you go.
Grace Paxton.
Grace.
It's called Grace.
So, but then yeah,
It's
then
Bill Paxton in this
first
movie.
of all, she's
I
like,
wish.
I'm not getting on a boat. And he's like, why? And she's like,
Like, you
I
have to, though.
literally
Yeah.
can't swim. And he's like, you'll be fine.
Which, by the way, you're like, okay, MacGuffin.
Yeah, okay, right.
But
But yeah, she has to climb down, and it is kind of a rickety ladder.
No, it's a shitty ass.
Yeah.
It's not even connected to the
Hey,
thing.
No,
wait,
I know,
wait,
I know.
Wait. Both of you. He does help her by touching her
By
butt.
grabbing her butt.
Well, that's what you would do if you're pretending you're boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Like,
You go boop on her butt.
I mean, how many times did that help you? Be like, oh, hope you.
100.
I did it earlier. I did it
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the
Oh,
most
God.
realistic thing that happens in this movie. Boyfriend and girlfriend wise.
So, but they get to his house, and his house is ginormous,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
gorgeous on
It
their
is a
own
giant
island.
house.
Yeah, like,
It's fucking beautiful.
and she's like, "Damn, son,
It's
you
like
are
a 10-bedroom
rich." Like,
house.
what?
Like, legit.
Yeah, yeah. And they have one child. They have a giant X
Yeah,
house and
yeah,
one
Yeah, that
kid.
just didn't make any sense.
Adopt some fucking kids, okay?
Jamie got like
You would have bought a
Superman.
goddamn zoo. If you had
Jamie
that
got
house.
got Superman during this because there's so much of Ryan Reynolds sleeping on the floor. She's like, there's got to be like 15 bedrooms in this house.
Yeah.
So you can't sleep in like a different.
Yeah.
Like, sneak out to a different bedroom.
Or you just put a pillow in the middle and you fucking
Yeah.
sleep like adults.
Or you don't.
Like
Because
adults.
you're gonna have to act married at some point again.
And I was like, there's a great porno in this movie that we did
Oh,
not
God.
like that we did not see.
Oh
Like, oh, it slipped in. Oh no!
So
Yeah,
anyway, guess who we meet? We meet his dad, who's also an
Dog,
asshole, like everyone else in this movie.
Cartoon Nelson, guys, the legendary
Yeah,
Cartoon Nelson.
and he's like, here's my son, my pansy son from New York, who won't take over businesses. He's being an executive assistant in
Also,
New York.
This motherfucker has a house with like 15 bedrooms and only had one kid.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Like,
Yeah.
unless your sperm don't work, man.
Yeah,
Again-
but also like adopt or something.
Adopt. No, that's what I'm saying.
Fuck.
Adopt some kids.
Fuck.
What the hell?
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah. No, because later in the movie, too, he talks about how he's like, you're the only person I have to leave all of this to.
What the
That's
fuck?
your
Whose
fault.
fault is that?
That's your fault.
What is happening?
Yeah, you're adult
We
people.
only
guys-
had me and your mom only had sex once, and we had you.
Get the best character.
Oscar.
His name is Oscar.
Well, his name's
name is-
Ramon.
his name is Ramon.
Ramon.
Oscar
Oscar
Ramon.
Nunez.
And not Oscar Nunez slash, yeah. Nunez
Nah.
is his real name.
Yes.
And then Oscar on The Office is Oscar
Yeah,
Martinez.
we didn't go
so
by
there
that.
you go.
We did not go
Yeah.
by that.
I think it's great. They're just like, just use your regular name.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, no, they did that for a lot of the show. Angela's name is Angela. I think Phyllis's name is.
I think everyone that wasn't in
yeah.
the original cast,
Yeah,
the British
exactly.
version, basically.
Right.
So,
So,
same as Rain. I got you.
yeah. So, but we get Oscar, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a caterer, I guess, or like a server." And he's like, "Try this sushi," and she's like, "I don't like fish." Like,
He's
she's
like,
like, "Please don't.
puts-
I
he's
don't
like,
like fish."
Non-
And he like
rapes her.
shoves
Yeah,
it
like,
in her
no.
face. He's like, "No, you'll really like it." She's like, "No, I don't want it.
I didn't
Please
write this
stop."
down, but I looked at him and I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
This
There's
is
a lot of
rape.
non-consensual
Like, he
stuff.
raped her.
Also, yeah. Also, I think an underlying part of the movie too is that he's like attracted to her and thinks
Yeah,
he should be
it
with
is.
her.
Oh, yeah, it's a funny thing.
It's supposed to be funny, though.
God.
It's supposed to be hilarious.
What the
Like, you're
There's
supposed to
so
laugh.
much going on. It's terrible. So,
We get the best character, the nicest character in the movie.
yeah,
The ex-girlfriend.
Gertrude.
Gert.
Call me
Gert.
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 Call me Gert.
That
Malin
makes me
Ackerman.
roar. That makes
Yeah.
me roar.
You're like, did you ever think you would do that to Malin Ackerman? And you're like,
It's like, do I have to call you Gert? Can I-
Yeah.
Like,
not even Gertie. Not even Gertie. Like,
It's
add the
something
IE.
else.
But yeah, oh god.
But obviously, she is the ultimate down-to-earth, chill opposite.
yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I'm
Will they
so...
get together
Yeah,
at the
and
end?
she's like, I'm so happy to
Whoa.
see you, but also I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
And she's like, how did you guys, what's the proposal story? There's a proposal
Also,
story,
this
right?
is the most unrealistic ex-girlfriend.
There's a proposal story, right? The proposal,
Yep.
what's the proposal
And also,
story?
kiss,
And
kiss.
also, we neglected to mention that they get back to the house and the mom and the grandmother organized a small welcoming party of 50 people,
Yeah.
which is everyone in the town,
Well,
because
that-
it's a small
they fit
town.
in
Yeah,
that house.
so,
What
yeah.
the fuck is
They
happening?
definitely fit in that house, by the way.
So they're at this
huge.
party. They're at this party, and guess what? Gert wants to
I'm
know
killing
the
them in the
proposal
house.
story. So
I
you
think
guys,
I wrote fuck this movie right after the proposal
yeah.
story thing.
So
It's
what's
like,
the
no,
proposal
fuck it.
story, you guys? Is it about him being really masculine, or is it about him being a pretty pansy boy
Okay,
who wrote
okay,
did beautiful
okay,
romantic
okay.
stuff?
Yes. So he goes, well, why don't you tell the
Yeah.
story? So, of course, she tells...
which makes sense.
Yeah.
This is her fucking
Yeah.
scene, you know, like.
so then
have
she
her do
tells
it.
this, like, asshole story, and he keeps butting in and be like, it didn't happen. Like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, I was really like, dude, you can't tell her to tell the story
Yeah,
and
and
then be
then
like,
like-
and then
Yeah, so
shit on her
basically,
story.
they tell this stupid story that like keeps running against each other, and it's
And then
terrible.
he cried. You know,
And then
like-
yeah, and
Because one, he's emasculated, and the other, he's manly because he's a manly guy.
yeah. So,
And
but
every
basically, at the
manly.
end, he proposed, even though she's literally not wearing a ring through any of this either.
No.
Yes.
And
That's
it's
a weird
like,
thing, too, that nobody ever
Nobody
asked.
mentions this ever.
like
It's
wouldn't he have a
weird.
ring if he actually proposed?
And like he even says like, oh, I didn't give her a ring at first, but then I gave her a ring. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so where's
Where is
the
it?
ring?
But
No one's
for
asking
some
about
reason,
it.
the line, this line made me laugh. She goes, and he was choking back soft sobs. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, like
No, she was trying to make him seem like
I
a
guess
soft boy.
Is Sandra Bullock a good actress, right? Like she's a good actress.
I think.
I had fun with her in this movie.
I think.
Yes, so.
is she a good actress or is she
She's-
just tall?
She's being
Alright,
a bitch.
She's just tall.
She's being a bitch to the guy who she's forcing to marry her.
But
so.
because she's a bitch, that's the point
She's
of her.
also not tall at all. Sandra Bullock's
Guys,
not
but
tall.
then we get the
No, but-
best character.
We
Kevin!
no, but we forgot. That's true. We do get Kevin, but we forgot.
Okay.
They have to kiss because
Yeah,
everyone's
okay.
like, "Oh,
We're
give
talking
us
about
a
it. It was just
kiss, give us a
stupid.
kiss." But guess what? They do a
Stupid.
little kiss, and they're like,
And
"No,
also
a real
just
kiss."
fucking
So
go
they
for it.
do
I
a
know.
kiss and a real kiss. So then they kiss, but then they're like, "Oh wait,
Okay.
maybe we like this."
This is me
Yeah.
losing my mind. I said, let's see you kiss. This town is fucking horny.
Yeah.
Put a finger inside
Yeah.
of her.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh real kiss.
Again, the porno version of this movie is fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many good porn scenes in this movie.
Oh,
The
and after they make out
pussy
though,
posal.
Gammy's super happy for them.
The proposed suck.
That was suck. Guys, I think we have to name this episode.
Gammy's super happy though after they make out.
Yeah, she's like, oh, that's a
She
real
looked at
kiss.
the clapping.
Because you guys, Gammy can tell that they have real feelings for each other, even before they can tell that they do, right?
Okay.
So then,
Sure.
they get to her bedroom, but then she
And
finds
Kevin.
out that it's actually his bedroom, which is this gorgeous fucking giant ass room.
Dude, this bedroom
With
is
a
bigger
balcony,
than, like,
its own
your
bathroom, a
apartment.
fucking fireplace. Yeah,
it's, like,
seriously,
fucking
it's huge.
huge.
So, and then we get the most adorable little fluff
Little
ball
Kevin.
named Kevin.
The best couple. He's like, good as boys.
And they rescued him, and he's a little rescue. He's
And
like
he's
a
just so happy to be there.
yeah.
That
I'm
dog
trying to think
actor-
of what he was, like an
that-
No,
Akita,
he
or
was
like
like he was
a
definitely some kind of like white husky.
like a
type
husky,
dog.
yeah. And he was like, I'm just a little
Maybe a
husky.
husky.
And but remember, they
Yeah.
tell her, they said, don't let him outside by himself because the eagles
It's
that
like,
roost
there's
outside.
no wasted
they're
life in this
gonna-
movie.
they're
Every
gonna
line is
take
like,
him away.
it's gonna happen later in the
Yeah.
movie. Like, okay, I get it, man. I get it. Shit.
So
I get
Then we get the baby maker too.
So then, yeah, and
The
also
baby maker.
she goes, there's plenty of extra blankets, including the baby maker quilt. It's got special powers in my family.
I told Jamie she should make a baby maker quilt for us. Despite
Well,
us having 2 kids.
do we
and
think this thing
maybe
is covering like
having
100 years of spooge?
Yeah, just
Oh, one of them.
Yeah.
Don't put a black one near the baby maker.
yeah.
And it's like his mom and dad's splooge.
Right? Yeah.
And also
Everything.
his
Also,
splooge.
also one grandchild. So really, actually, not that much
You're
food.
saying
Wait,
not like
like,
that, you're like the
it
black-
doesn't work. It's a curse.
Guys, there's a story
It's
here.
a
No, there's a story.
curse.
No, seriously though.
That-
This is okay. This is
Oh
one.
my god, that
There's a
quilt
story
is
here.
cursed.
No, maybe here's what happened, guys. Here's what happened. Okay,
all right.
the parents were like, use that blanket once, and then like, get that blanket out of here. I hate it. It's a stupid color.
Yeah.
And then no other kids. And
Yeah.
so it's proven.
There you go.
It's the section that proves
Yeah.
the rule.
So they
Love
can
it.
make one baby on the quilt, and then it's done. They're
And so
done.
they should just use
So-
it again.
But then she makes him sleep on the floor, which we talked about before. And I'm
Also,
just
there's
like,
a goddamn couch at the foot of this bed, by the way.
Yes! And also, like, plenty of other things he could have not slept on the
like
floor.
there were chairs with ottomans, like yeah. But also,
Jamie was very upset about that.
but also,
I was like, okay.
you are going to fucking marry this dude. You're probably gonna have to learn how
You're
to
gonna have
sleep
to
in the
see
same
his
goddamn
penis
bed
at some point.
Seriously.
Or she sleeps on the goddamn couch because he is his fucking house.
yeah,
Like, I
this
don't
is
fucking
literally
know. No,
this,
I don't know.
this is his childhood bedroom.
Because he's not an asshole right now, he's a gentleman again.
right,
I guess.
sure, I guess so.
And this, because the
So,
scene dictates it needs to happen.
So then, of course, you guys, it's Alaska in the
Go north
winter
to
time.
Sun don't go
Alaska.
down.
So
The sun
there,
never
yeah,
goes
there's
down.
it's just light, and she's like, I'm not gonna be able to fall asleep in this light, and he's like, oh look, we have rich ass people curtains that like
But
go
also,
down.
like, she could have just got up and manually done that.
Yeah.
Or put a pillow over her face.
Something.
Anything that
So
she could
anyway,
do.
but you guys, she's woken up by a phone call, which I guess is really early in the morning, and it's Frank, that writer who she's trying to get to go on Oprah.
Who, by the way, at this point, I'd already forgotten about. I
Yeah,
was
I'm like,
who the
what?
fuck is this?
Right,
Your boss?
who is
Who the
this
fuck is calling her?
So, and of course, Andrew's like, you're loud and I'm sleeping, get out of the room. So she walks all the way through the house talking to this guy and goes outside. And guess who she brings outside with her?
Poor little
Kevin. Little
Well, this Kevin
fluffy
really
Kevin.
likes her, even though they keep saying, "Oh, Kevin doesn't like you."
Yeah,
Kevin
I don't know
likes
why
her
they
a
kept
lot.
saying that.
He's having a
Kevin
great time.
enjoys
Yeah.
her.
He's having a great time with her.
Yeah.
Also, she's scared of Kevin. We should have
But
brushed
guys,
it
let me
that.
see.
And he's the
a
tiniest
very,
little dog.
A very off-putting stock picture of an eagle in a
Yeah.
tree. Like, it's just like, this is not the same scene.
That was
I
some.
get that.
What was the movie we watched? Love.
Actually,
No, the one with
Not
the
yet.
birds.
go
Not
somewhere.
yet.
The one with the words.
With the birds.
Birds.
With the
Birdemic.
Birdemic, yes, Birdemic,
Bird
remember?
Box.
And Bird
Bird
Box,
Box.
but Birdemic, remember?
boy.
Birdemic had the
Oh, yeah,
birds.
of course,
yeah.
yeah. Well, it's it's someone nature filming a bird. So the bird's like moving his heads. Like, oh, he's looking at his prey. You're like, okay, this
Also,
is
that
yeah.
eagle was undersized as fuck.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
not gonna.
That dog, there's no way there's pictures of that chunky
that
ass,
dog-
fluffy dog.
It was a
Fluffy
rescue
puppers.
dog, so it's at least 6 months old. Like, that's a good sized
Yeah,
dog.
he was
Yeah.
he's a chunky dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, but
for
anyway, The eagle takes Kevin while she's on the phone, so then she chases after the
But
eagle,
also,
and then
this
he
is her
drops
caring
Kevin.
again. Like, she didn't have to care about this.
Yeah.
She was like, the stupid dog got out.
So
Whatever.
he drops Kevin, she catches Kevin,
Yeah,
and then
she
she's
like-
running,
And the
and
bird
then
takes her
she puts
fucking
her
phone!
over her head, and the eagle takes her
Why
phone.
does that happen?
This eagle's a dick, by the way.
Why does that happen? It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
This eagle's an asshole.
I was so upset. I was like, this is upsetting.
So
Why did that happen?
Then,
So-
then everybody looks outside.
Yeah,
they're like,
and-
oh,
and
she's
the mom
playing
and
with
the
Kevin.
grandma-
This is what this is going.
the mom and the grandma
take
are
the
like,
dog,
yeah.
take the dog.
They're like,
That was funny.
she's
That
playing
was a
with
funny
Kevin.
scene. Though. You
Look
can't
at her.
deny this was
No,
funny.
That was
again,
funny.
Mary Steenburgen and Betty White. Any scene they were in
Great
together
delivery. And
was
also, but
great.
also, working hard. Sandra Bullock working hard. Little.
Sure.
Yeah, she was. This was
She
a
was
good
working
physical
hard.
comedy
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
Sure.
It was. No, I agree with you.
So Ryan Reynolds or Andrew comes out and he's like, "Oh hey, you know," she's like, it took my phone, it took
No,
the
so
dog,
much
and
more.
then
We gotta.
He's
I
like,
know.
He's also like, we'll just get you a phone. He's
yeah.
like,
So he's like, "We'll
not
get you a
thing.
new phone.
This is still the 2010s. We can just get you a phone.
We'll get you a new
Another
phone."
bit.
So but they're like he's pretending they're like kissing because his mom and his grandma are watching, and she's
And
like.
he grabs her butt.
Yeah, and she's like, "Stop grabbing your butt." It's like, you're gonna have to pretend to like him at some point, you idiot. You're getting married. So then the mom and the grandma...
I mean, she is a bitch, though.
Yeah, she's a bitch, so...
We've established it.
The mom and the grandma are like, "We have a surprise for you. We're gonna take you shopping today, and we're gonna go see the sights
But
of
she hates
Sitka."
shopping and sightseeing.
She hates all that stuff. And they're like, "No, come on, we're gonna go." And guess where they go? They go... Yeah, it's, Frankie goes to Hollywood, and it's like, relax, don't do
Except
it.
it's
When
Ramon.
you want to go to
Go
it, relax.
Ramon,
And they're like,
yes.
he's not the best, but he's the only male dancer we have in Sitka, so we come to see him, I guess.
Which, it makes, I was like, okay, when you put it that way, that makes sense.
Also,
That's what you
some
got.
things I love about the scene. For one, she doesn't seem to have any relaxed clothes. She's still wearing dress clothes while they're out on the town.
Well,
For
she didn't know
two,
they were going on a town.
for two, I genuinely felt bad for her character at this point because it's like 3 complete strangers are going to take me out on the town. My future mother-in-law, my future grandmother-in-law, both of whom I'm lying to, and
the
ex-girlfriend of the guy I'm marrying. Yeah, like, what? This sounds terrible.
God, this sounds the worst.
Hey,
Yeah.
but at least there's some non-consensual figure sucking in this.
Guys,
That's
but
the most
also,
important part.
the best part about the scene, which is something you may not have noticed, let's place some knee pads on. Because he's doing a lot of calisthenics, a lot of...
Well, if you're laying on your knees, you're gonna fall down. And you want to pick me.
Good on a lady there, too. Who knows? Non-consensually.
All non-consensual. Though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so keep moving.
Yeah, so we get home. So
Matt,
while they're
relax.
out,
Don't do it.
while they're out,
Wait,
yeah,
come.
while they're out, the dad is like, "Oh, son,
Daughter?
we have to have a talk with each other," and the talk is, blah blah blah. You're my only kid, which is my own fault for
I'm
only having
disappointed
one
to take over
kid.
business.
And
Yeah.
I want you to take over all the businesses that I own.
Stop
and
doing
he's
your
like,
own thing and do what I told you
Yeah,
to
and
do.
he's like, "No, I want to live in New York. I want to work in publishing. That's my dream."
It's also the most cliche thing ever in a movie. It's like, okay.
Oh my god, I know.
This is like paint by numbers.
Also, they make it clear at this point that they rarely see each other, and I'm sorry, if you're that mom and you have that much fucking money, you would just fly down to see your son.
By the way, they're like, we haven't seen you in 3 years, and I'm like,
You
that's
have
not a
a
long
shit
time.
ton of money.
Also, that's not really a long time
No,
either. Like,
it's not.
If someone that lives
But
in
also-
Alaska and New York City, that's not
But also,
Yeah.
they have a ton of fucking money.
Yeah, like go visit
They
him.
probably got a
Go to
private
New York
plane.
City at
Yeah.
Christmas time.
They
like,
got a
you
private
can
house.
afford
They
to
can
do
probably
it.
have
Yeah.
a
It's not established shit. Like, you think, like, oh, they'll be like, oh, because we're so busy running all these businesses. But they're not.
No.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
They're just there.
So, she comes home and she's like, "I need to take a shower." And, he had a fight with his dad, and he's banging on this canoe
Yeah.
that he's been making with an
That's
axe
like,
for years.
that's like his thing when he gets
Yeah.
mad. He
And you're
uses
like,
the canoe.
that's a character thing.
Thing.
That'll definitely come back.
Yeah.
The only thing in the movie that does not come back.
Yeah.
That-
So, but they're like,
Yeah.
best to leave him alone while he's chopping away at the canoe. So she goes up to take a shower. She takes a shower, but when she gets out of the shower, guess who's in the bedroom? It's Kevin!
Well, there's no towel.
No, Andy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The dog,
So
yes.
there's no towels, and she's like, "I need a towel," but she opens the door, and there's Kevin, and Kevin's like, "I
He's
won't
just
leave
being
you
a
alone."
cute dog.
Cute little
Good
dog.
dog.
And she's like, oh, he's trying to attack me. I'm like,
No,
what?
she's such an idiot. So that's when she does have the, like, when you're talking
She's
to
got
our
the
Kevin
blue
about
collar,
it.
was like
And
a
when it
little
was,
bit too
even though
much.
it was technically not nudity, it was nudity.
Like,
because
it
she
felt
definitely,
like, it felt predatory towards the actress.
I know. I was like,
is Sandra Bullock better than this? I feel like.
No, I was like,
It was supposed to
I'm
be
uncomfortable
funny,
with this.
okay?
Yeah. But she's like covering the
I,
parts.
mean, I still had a full erection, but I felt bad about it.
She's like covering the parts and she's going to get some towels and then Kevin's bothering her. And the best part is she pulls out the blow dryer and she's like, oh, you're not going to like this. But he's like, I like it. And guess who loves getting blow dried? Louis loves getting blow dried. Yeah, he's like, oh, it's nice. It's warm.
Why does she think a dog is not like that? Like,
Yeah.
how they're being blown up?
And she's like, oh, you love it. So she's like, all right, I'm just going to open the door and run out and grab a towel. And at the same time...
She sees the towels that because Andrew's already opened the doors and she sees them.
Yeah. But
And he's,
Andrew
like, out there in the
came in, he came in from,
like
getting all sweaty, and he's listened to his techno
He's
music,
got a crystal method on
and
there.
he was out on his balcony like, I'm listening to my music. Okay, now
It's
I'm
a
going to
massive
go back in and
attack
get a shower.
line.
So she's been yelling. She's like, is anyone out there? And he can't hear her.
But
So,
he
of course,
can't hear.
she comes running out of the bathroom, and he comes in through the balcony, and
they're both
their naked bodies
again-
just slam against each other.
And when you when you see the porno version, you're like, this makes perfect sense they smack and they're like, oh, you fell into me. I guess we have to have sex.
But they're like, no, why is this happening? It's
so
hilarious.
naked, and you're so naked, and everyone's
I
naked.
put a series of stupid
Why are
things.
you wet? That was
Yeah.
what I like when he was doing that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So then after they're like have gotten dressed and are safely ensconced.
I put naughty parts to meet cute.
Yeah, for sure. Tell you want your pops to meet her.
MEAT.
Yeah. So then they're safely ensconced back. You know, she's in the bed and he's on the floor, and it's time for like a heart-to-heart feelings talk.
So what is
Confessions.
what's the first thing she says?
Confessions.
Like, you're like, oh, is she gonna start saying stuff that he needs to know for this binder? Nope. She says, I like the psychic network.
Well, she has to because she asked him about his parents, and he's like, I don't want to tell you about that.
And she goes, I like the psychic network. And she also thinks that Brian Dennehy is sexy.
Well, I had to remind Jamie who Brian Dennehy was.
Because she wasn't born when he was popular.
This is my personal favorite part of this. I had
Yeah.
to because he was like, who's Brian Dennehy? I'm like, I gotta tell you now,
Yeah,
Brian
yeah.
Dennehy.
Before you were born, there was this actor.
It's me, Brian Dennehy. I'm just a big guy. I look like a big box, basically.
I used
Yeah.
to be
Looks like a
handsome, I
box.
guess? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't get that.
Not in 2010. Still look like a box. But just putting that out there. But yeah, so
I played Tommy Boy's dad.
but they're
Big Tom
they're
Callahan.
talking, and then
And she's telling him about the first concert that she went to,
which
and she does.
who was it though?
Belle Biv DeVoe. I don't know.
DJ Easy Ride.
Yeah.
I heard she said she took disco lessons in high school.
Disco dancing lessons was like.
Which also, he doesn't take any notes at this point.
No.
I mean, really, come on. But
he has a good memory.
and she does finally explain
shenanigans.
her tattoos,
From
which
shenanigans,
are two swallows that she got when her parents passed away.
When she was 16.
Yeah, and she was 16, yes.
I wrote swallows because of parents, and I was like, why did I write that? Because I forgot that was the tattoo thing, and I was like, what is she swallowing?
So,
Because of her parents?
FYI, I did pull up young Brian Dennehy photos just in
Was he-
case.
And
No, he's always looked like
yeah,
a
smoke
fucking...
show, yes.
He's looked like a meat
A potato,
box.
yeah, he's a potato.
He looks like Crab and Goyle.
Like he looks like
together.
if you look up square in the dictionary, it's just a picture of him. He's just
What?
square. Just completely square.
Like, it's literally a cube of a head.
No,
so.
He looks like a cartoon character.
yeah. I mean, that's what he's always looked like.
Yeah. So anyway, remember you guys at the end of the scene where they're like, "Oh, we kind of got to know each other a little."
Yeah.
He's like, "By the way, I just want you to know you're very beautiful," and it's like he's
Don't
into
take
it
this
now.
the wrong way.
He saw her naked, and he's into it now.
Which, by the way, would have been like a better thing if they were like, if he was like under the influence or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It didn't make sense. He was like, you're very beautiful. Like I'm like a little kid telling you.
No, and he's
fucking-
like, "Don't take this the wrong
like,
way."
Yeah, don't think it's the wrong way.
Hey, she dug it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, because they go to sleep that
my
night.
ice cream veneer is melting.
They go to sleep that night and wake up the next morning and she's like, "Oh, I look terrible. I have to put makeup on."
Yeah, oh
like
my
I
God.
fucking hate
I
that.
just like stared at Jamie sometimes. She's just like.
Like, what?
That would look good for your
Yeah.
face.
Right?
Gotta put some lip gloss on and make sure my hair's really nice. But then who shows up? The parents and the fucking grandma are like, oh,
But
rise
also,
and shine.
Like, these people...
Breakfast in
like,
bed.
Like, any headcanon is these people are fucking.
Yeah, no, I
and then they show up
love...
with breakfast and fucking
I
bed.
love that they put them
fucking
in the
kidding
same
me.
room in the first place, and they're like,
I was
"Oh, we
offended.
have no, we know you guys sleep together," but it's like it's the morning. That's when there's a giant boner.
Which, by the way, was
finds out.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock finds out. Yeah.
fully the best excuse to be like, yeah, you gotta wait a minute, like we were
I'm
fucking,
fully
yeah.
engorged and
But
inside of her.
also should have been the cue for the parents to be like, we'll come back later.
Yeah, seriously.
No,
Like,
they
wait.
obviously, if this is taking a long time,
They wait.
One's inside the other person.
They
One of
wait.
you is inside the
Yeah.
other person at this point.
And maybe she's inside
Yeah.
your son.
Who the fuck
I mean, who
knows, right?
knows?
Like,
Yeah, right.
who? No.
But then they put the big surprise on. We want you to get married.
No, but we didn't even talk about how they get into bed together, and she's like, spoon me, and then she's like, ew!
You're a penis.
Ew! And he's like, it's the morning.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I can't help this.
And also,
it's the
you're
morning.
a naked woman.
Yeah,
Like, come
well,
on,
she
man.
was in her sexy
By the way, those
pajamas.
were kind of sad. They were kind of sad.
He didn't. He was
They
like,
were
"What the
ugly.
fuck are you?"
No, the wedding dress is ugly. The jazz got me red a little bit. A
Oh,
little
God.
jazz. A little
But yeah, she's like, "Ew, boners are gross." It's
Yeah,
like, okay.
I mean,
So
dude.
But then she also felt the size and girth of his boner between her butt cheeks. Probably.
maybe
Yeah.
she was disappointed. And
Yeah,
she was
I
like,
don't
"Ooh, yeah."
Not too disappointed though.
So, yeah, but they come in and they're like, guess what? Hey, because we're already planning Gammy's birthday tomorrow, and you guys are getting married, why don't you get married here tomorrow for the birthday? Like, just get married. We'll plan everything. We
Well,
want to do
because she's
it.
not. This has got any more birthdays left. Okay. So
Yeah,
why don't she
she's
get married
like,
on
hey,
her birthday? What
She's
can
like,
go
I've
wrong?
had plenty of birthdays. And they're like, oh, let's not,
And she makes a great comment. She goes, "I've always wanted to get married in a barn."
Yeah, well, because they're like, it's a family tradition. You know, the 3 weddings they've had there, because that's the only family members they
Also,
have.
like, you feel like any part of the house is going to be better than a barn, right? Like,
Well, the barn was really nice.
It's a nice barn.
It was stupidly nice. It was like, this is not even a
Because
barn.
they don't use
Right.
it for a barn, Mike.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, they
Because
use
they're
it for...
rich-ass fucks.
Yeah,
None of
exactly.
this
They're rich
makes
people.
sense.
Yeah, they're rich. They're super
I am
rich.
annoyed by
So
how
anyway,
dumb this shit.
they now they have this confusing scene. It's just a business deal and blah blah. And she gotta run away.
Yeah, she's like, wait, I might be having feelings. And he's like, I might be having feelings because she's getting me my coffee instead. And, oh, so she's like, I need to jump on a bike and ride away. I
10
just
speed.
need to
A
ride.
10 speed.
I need to
And
go
she's
ride
like-
away.
Just a random bike she
A
stole.
10-speed road bike that she
Yeah.
takes in off-roading in the fucking woods.
Yeah. So, of course, she bangs herself up a little bit. And then she hears,
But
like,
then-
some music.
But then,
The
Yeah.
best scene
but
of
then,
Okay.
movie.
I think this is
So
where
he
you're gonna
goes-
get a strike of some sort.
So this is
Like
where he's like-
racism maybe,
he's
or
like, oh,
probation.
he's like, well, you know, at least Betty only did this like once. And I'm like, oh no, she wore a headdress multiple times in Golden Girls. Like, it,
Thank you for being a
which
friend.
like, again, I'm not faulting Betty necessarily, but this movie
a
was
product
made in
of its time, guys.
2009.
It's a product of its time, right?
So supposedly in the movie,
I would love to wear a headdress.
supposedly in the movie, she has like a grandparent who's Native American.
Yeah, and she like quickly tells the story. Goes, don't
Yeah.
turn off the movie, guys. I have my
Right.
peepaw
So
was
it's,
good.
yeah, it's not cultural
no.
appropriation.
It's not a grandparent. It's her dad. I think it's like her direct relative. And I'm like, no, no.
Oh, I think it was her dad was Russian and her mom was
Yes.
Native American.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
It was-
exactly.
And I was just like, no,
Yeah.
no. This is too like say your grandparent. Yes,
Incorrect.
I get it.
Incorrect.
But no, but also no.
Your name is literally Betty White.
Yeah.
Like, there's
But
no
anyway,
part of you that's
anyway,
Native
she
American.
tells her, "Hey, you know, I want you to let it out." And
Yeah, she's doing
Here,
so.
flow
She's
through,
got
yeah.
she's got like a blanket on her and like a feather headdress, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just communing with nature. Come commune with nature with me."
And like it's saying, it's not Inuit language. It's some kind of
No.
gibberish, and
Yeah,
it's very
gibberish.
It's very troubling.
But
It's very troubling.
It's
hey, don't
uncomfortable.
worry, she'll be went up in a
uncomfortable.
second by Sandra
Yeah,
Bullock.
because Sandra Bullock's, she's like, oh, she's like, sing with me and move with the rhythm. So Sandra Bullock, the first thing she thinks of
It's the Yin Yang
to the
twins.
window,
Yeah.
to the wall.
to the window,
The sweat
to the
rolls
wall,
off my balls.
till the sweat rolls off my balls, skeet, skeet,
Yeah.
skeet, skeet. And it's just like,
troubling.
oh god, it's a terrible scene. It's so bad. So she and Betty White dance around singing Skeet Skeet.
I wrote the whitest person ever wrote this.
Yeah, exactly.
Look what we can get these other white people do. It's gonna be so much fun with this African music and this Native American dancing.
So, it's terrible. So then Andrew comes up on them and he's like, hey, guess what? We ordered your phone and it came in, so let's go into town and we'll pick up your new phone. Yeah, but who's at the phone store? It's his ex-girlfriend. And of course, she's...
Ramon.
Oh, right, Ramon. Ramon's there. And he's like,
with an E. He spells his own name right.
Ramon, I also work at the phone store because he already does four things.
Funny
He does so many things.
So
he works everywhere. And, but anyway... She's like, I need to get out a computer, and he's like, here, you can use this computer at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And then they see Gert walking by. Gert.
Oh,
and
gosh.
she's of course she's an elementary school teacher, you guys.
She's very innocent.
So he's like, oh, I'm gonna go out and say hi to her because she's here, and she's like, oh, okay. And he's like, you use the computer, and he gives her dimes to put in the machine to use the computer.
Of course.
And she's like, I can't do this, but then she's like, I'm an independent woman, I can figure this out, which is like, yeah, you can. But also then the dial-up sound comes up, and she's like, what is that? It's like,
she's
bitch,
old enough to know what
you
dial-up
know
is.
what dial-up is.
You're old enough.
Like, come on.
Shut up.
So,
You're a boomer,
but then
okay?
she sees him and Gert talking together, and she's like,
a little jealous.
I think she feels more like guilty.
Like
she's
they should
like,
be
oh,
together,
they
yeah.
should be together, and I'm like forcing him to marry me.
And this is where I slowly jerk off with my tears. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, exactly. So they go to leave, and they get into the boat, and this woman who is not wearing a life jacket, has never steered a boat before, and cannot swim.
Not been in a boat, admittedly by herself, earlier in this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Gets behind the wheel,
and drives the boat!
Drives the fuck up. Angry, fast. It's very dangerous. It was so frustrating. So she drives off, and she's like, I'm angry because maybe we're doing the wrong thing because I forgot what it's like to have a family.
We skipped the whole wedding dress scene, by the way.
It's fine.
That's okay, we'll keep going.
It's fine. Basically,
it's a stupid scene.
The mom and the grandma grab her to get a wedding dress. The grandma makes scenes about her boob, makes a joke about her boobs being small.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Keep going.
So she's like, I forgot what it's like to have a family. Oh no, but there is a good line in that scene. Real quick.
That's part of the impetus.
Is no, because she goes to give her that necklace. She goes to give her the opal necklace.
We're close.
And she says to her, she's like, no, I can't take this. And she goes, it's a really good line. She goes, grandparents give their grandchildren things because they want to feel like after they've died, some part of them stays with the grandchild. And I was like, that's true. That's actually a really good line. That's true.
Yeah. It'd be great if they were actually getting married for the right reason.
Right, exactly. So,
but Sandra Bullock plays as well. She like has a very guilty look on her
angry
face.
and she's guilty and she's like, I feel bad. We're hurting your family. We shouldn't be doing this.
So now, back to the boat.
Yeah. So then he grabs a hold of the wheel from her.
Yeah, because she just lets the wheel go. For no reason. Well, the boat's going like 70
full
miles
throttle. Seriously. Yeah. So he grabs the wheel and then he starts talking, but then they almost hit a buoy, so he goes around it.
Which, by the way, this is a big ass body of water. You can easily see there's no land around them. What happens if this boat goes somewhere?
And why is there buoy there?
Yeah.
Like, what?
You're fine.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
So, but they almost hit this buoy. So he goes around it and like tilts the boat, and she flies out of the boat.
Great sound by the way, guys. Some person goes right out of the boat and goes,
she flies out of the boat.
No!
And then of course he just continues talking, and she goes into the water.
While she's dying,
which, by the way, she's like, I can't swim, but she's like staying above water, like she's
over to the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can't swim, you just kind of flail and fall.
Yeah,
you don't float.
Oh my god. So he's like, listen, we're going to follow through. Things are going to go according to plan. Everything's going to be fine. Let's just get it done.
But guys, he's warming the Ice Queen up, too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're
he's
like...
holding her. He's like,
literally
warm. Yeah, oh, you got to get warm. And she's like, oh, man.
Maybe I'll be warm now. So next day comes.
I'm going to be such a bitch.
Oh, you guys, we completely forgot. So at some point during that same day, the guy from immigration shows up. Remember?
The dad flew him in.
The dad flew him in.
Craig T. Nelson flew his ass in.
Because he's like, oh, now I know why you guys are getting married. I figured it all out.
Dad
Just
is
come
the
clean.
worst.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he goes, "Don't tell Mom. I'm gonna." And then they go and meet the immigration guy.
Yeah. So he's like, you better come clean and just admit it and be done with this, or else, this guy's gonna take you in. But they're like, no, we're getting married. This is what we
the deal's
plan
only
to
okay
do.
for like 20 seconds. If you admit that it's a sham, then I won't.
Yeah, 20 seconds.
Yeah, then I won't arrest you, but I'll still deport her. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So then we get past the scene, and at the end of the day, we get the old "it's bad luck" to see the bride before the
Oh,
wedding.
yeah,
She
so
gotta
he has
sleep
to
in
go stay in a different room. The room he could have stayed in the whole
And they
time.
both pensively like, I started to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, anyway, next day is the wedding. And the barn looks beautiful, and everyone looks beautiful, and she's there, and she's got the hideous wedding dress on that fits her a little bit better now, I guess. And she gets up to the altar, and guess who's marrying them? It's Ramon again.
That guy does everything. He's just so great.
So, Ramon, even though he's like in love with the bride, apparently is getting them married. But then she's
I was
like
making like sexy comments at her
Yeah.
too. I'm like, stop, dude.
But
Stop.
then she stops everyone and she's like, listen, I feel really guilty. I'm going to tell the truth. And she's like, and don't blame him. I forced him to do this.
I'm like, okay.
It's not his
The
fault.
best part was watching the immigration guy.
Yeah,
like,
he
he's
was
like-
like so
he's like,
excited.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did it.
He
Yeah.
just keeps like,
Why? Who directed this scene? You
Like,
suck.
I was
I
like,
hate you.
okay, man. Like, be the smuggest asshole
Yeah.
you can possibly be.
So then she's like, I'm so sorry. So she walks out and she tells him, she's like, you're giving me a ride to the boat or whatever. And it's like, okay. So she goes and packs her bags. And then everyone's like, the parents are like, you lied to us. And the grandpa's like, you lied to me. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And then so apparently, I don't know if he's like talking to his family and she packs super fast. Because then the next scene is he's in
got
the
the
bedroom
fuck out
and
of
she's gone.
Yeah, she's gone.
She's gone. And he's like, she leaves him a note saying that she's going to publish his
I
manuscript.
think he had some cake. I think he had like a piece of
Oh,
cake.
yeah. I mean,
So,
who
oh,
would?
I'm not going to
Yeah,
waste the cake,
I mean, the
right?
food. Yeah, the food. Yeah. So he's like
You would think.
talking
yeah.
to people, explaining things.
By the
So
way,
he gets back there.
this is now about a 25-minute swath of movie with no Kevin. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Seriously.
Probably the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So, but Gert comes in, and she's
Good old
like,
Gert.
people are going to be talking about this forever because this is the small town we live in that no one does
And you're
anything
like,
ever, and there's never any news.
Is it weird to look? I feel like Miller Ackman was actually wasted here.
Yeah.
Completely.
Like, right? Like, right?
100%. What was
That's
her character?
strange, right?
Because then he's like, this woman drives me crazy, I've hated her for so long, but then she turns around and does something nice, and she's like, so are you gonna go after her, right? Because you love her. You really love her, don't you? And he's like, I guess I do. So he's like, I have to go
It's
after
been
her.
2 days, I guess.
Yeah. So, seriously. So, but then he gets back out to the wedding party, and his dad's like, you can't go after her. And he's like, don't tell me what to do with my life, Dad. And they start fighting. And so, of course, the grandma fakes a heart. Well, she has a heart attack
That's
because
why.
they're fighting.
This is another thing I remember for this. We were like, oh yeah, she like fakes heart attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fake.
But then at the same time,
It's okay,
so
she's
then we
rich
go
and
back to Margaret with the immigration guy, and she's like, so what happens now? And he's like, well, now that you're going of your own accord, everything's very nice. Basically, you just have to get out of town in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, move out of
You have
New
to be
York.
on a
Back to
plane back
Vancouver.
to Vancouver. Was it Vancouver or was it Quebec
I
or?
think it's Vancouver.
Oh.
Could
Okay.
be Quebec. It's probably Vancouver.
It's probably
British
Saskatchewan.
Columbia.
Like
I feel
I'm from the rural areas of Canada.
I feel like it wasn't, but anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Quebec.
Ontario.
Ontario.
That's what it was.
Yes,
Okay.
sure.
It's a province,
Okay.
but sure.
So
I mean, Canada. That's really all we care about.
yeah.
But
So but then they get on their plane and they leave, and as the plane's going, so they're on a little plane with Grandma,
Little
and she's
plane.
like, "Will you two stop fighting with each other? Promise me you'll stop fighting." They're like, "Okay, we'll stop fighting."
Promise
She's like,
me you'll
"Okay."
stop
She goes,
fighting.
"Okay, the spirits can take me." Then she's like, "Wait, the
Just
spirits
like
can
you're
take
not
me."
because I guess they're not ready yet.
I guess so. So they're like, we have to go get her. So they go to the one airport in Juneau or Sitka. That's the Sitka airport, the little one, and he knows the guy at air traffic control
That's
because
right.
he's like, the tower
And he's that
here.
guy.
He's
Yeah,
that guy.
he's
Yeah, he's
that
that
guy.
guy. Yeah. And
Oh,
he's
it's
like,
that
you gotta
guy.
stop that plane. And
He
he's
does
like,
not
I
stop that
can't
plane.
stop the plane. And it's like, oh no.
They'll never be in love again or something.
And also, this is where the movie should have ended. She was
Yeah.
a very sad note.
Yeah.
Like,
I
we'll
would
never
find
find out.
That's really, I agree, 100%.
But instead, he gets back to New York.
Yeah, but
And she's
instead.
like leaving the office.
Yeah, she's like packing
everything up.
Yeah.
And what's that?
Marry me because I'd like to date you.
Marry me because I'd like to date you.
That's the line.
That's the line he says.
That's the line, guys. That's the line.
But then she's like, listen, I feel comfortable being alone, though. Like, it's just easier for me.
No, I do love that she's like, listen.
Again,
yeah.
guys, Sandra Bullock acting her fucking ass off here. Like,
But
doing a
again,
great job.
I guess so.
Doing a great job.
I feel
Also,
like
there's
she's
still no
just
Kevin
is
right
Sandra
here.
Bullock.
Still no
yeah,
Kevin.
No Kevin.
Kevin should have went to New York. It should have been maybe
What if he had Kevin like a little bag?
maybe a full movie of
Yeah,
Kevin
bad
going to New
Kevin.
York and just like looking out the window, wagging his tail. Oh my god. I would have never been in that movie.
It's just called The Best Doggo.
Yeah, the best doggo ever. So we're almost done, guys. Come on, we're almost done.
We're not. We literally are. Yeah.
So then they kiss in the office, and everybody's like, oh, and then there's,
Ooh,
then
gossip!
then there's a guy who shouts, show her who's
Yeah,
boss,
show her who's
Andrew.
boss, Andrew. Like,
Jimmy-
you're in charge
Jimmy
now.
Floyd laughed at the scene. I was like, no, just don't. Please
Yeah.
don't do that.
Show her who's boss, Andrew.
I was like, hey, fuck you, you're fired. That's
Yeah,
what it was like,
yes.
Get the fuck out of here. Sit on your goddamn desk. I'm still a bitch.
So then there's like a during credits scene at the end where the immigration guy is asking random people random.
it seems like it was like an improv type thing.
Yeah.
It's like improv, yeah.
But it's great because the
Kevin's
best
in
part
it.
is
Oh.
Yes, Kevin is in it because Gammy's like he
scene.
doesn't like Margaret, but he's just barking like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just being adorable. But the best is Oscar because Oscar gets asked a bunch of questions, and of course they were like, "Are you an American citizen?" He's like, "Of course I am, of course." But he sings the very best part. Really, my favorite part of this movie is that it ends with he sings some lines from like America the Beautiful, and they're like, "Oh, that's beautiful." And he's like, "Yes, Mama Cass." And I'm just like, "What the
Mama
fuck,
Cass.
Mama Cass?"
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where the movie
Okay,
ends.
guys.
And that's where the
That's
movie
where this movie ends
Ugh.
for us because we got through it. Now, is this movie worse than Yoga Hosers?
No.
That's great.
ends. Yoga Hosers
It's
is
amazing.
way
This is a
worse.
treasure.
Yeah.
This movie's a treasure.
A treasure.
It's great.
I would not go that far.
I wouldn't call it a
so bad.
treasure.
It's so bad. It was good.
I'm sorry, you're saying you're not bringing this your national treasure?
It was so bad it turned back around for me. I was like,
Okay,
this is
so are you not
so-
bringing this movie? You're gonna watch it
No. I watched it.
He'll watch it. He's
Yeah.
definitely gonna watch it again.
She definitely told me she was gonna not burn this movie and that she loved it.
And you lied.
so full of
That was the last thing I wrote down. I was like, Katie loves this movie, does not want to burn it. She's like, you are.
Yeah.
By the way, Walt Disney Studios owns this movie, I guess. So
Yeah.
this
Sure.
may be
It's
this
fine.
may be on Disney Plus. I don't know.
I hope so. I hope maybe they make it a series, like
Boy,
a
boy, go,
proposal
girl, boy.
2. Maybe we can see how bad this relationship went.
Guys, I'm
afterwards.
sure the proposal still exists somewhere, like on Tubi or something.
Guys, burn this movie. It's a piece of
Don't.
shit.
It's great.
Can I tell you real quick too?
No.
So
no, we have
it
to
was
go.
on
We have to go.
Hulu. It was on Hulu, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Up until like last week,
Yeah.
and then you were
That's
like,
when
"Oh,
you
it's on
watch
Hulu."
That's where Jane watched
Yeah, and he was like, we were like, "Oh, it's not there anymore," and I was like,
Like, thank you,
"Yes."
Jesus.
No, I was literally like, "Thank you," and then he's like, "Oh, it's on Amazon Prime." I'm like, "Can we not,
Fuck!
brother?
Fuck!
Not tell your brother."
Bye, guys.
Stay classy, guys.